Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I've done videos today talking about what's going on in terms of the difference between the $908 billion stimulus proposal and the proposal from the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. I've talked to you about the new permanent unemployed. I can tell you that a lot of conflicting information is emerging from the White House and from different individuals. I want to set the record straight. I want you to know that the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about money. In this video, I'm going to focus on what states are doing to step in. Yes, states are stepping in while the stimulus gamesmanship continues in Congress, while House Speaker Pelosi continues with whatever she's doing, while Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell continues with what he's doing, and while the president remains focused on challenging the outcomes of the election, while normal hardworking Americans are stuck in between because we have to put food on the table, we have bills to pay, we have to keep the lights on, we have to make rent. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment and hospitality have in many cases lost their jobs permanently. On your screen you'll see an article from CNBC which tells you that certain states like Alaska, California, Colorado, Maryland, New York and New Mexico are among the areas that have actually infused money into households and small businesses over the past 2 weeks because the federal government has not yet stepped in. This financial aid actually includes stimulus checks, extra unemployment benefits, interest-free loans for small businesses, and housing assistance, believe it or not. So the stimulus talks on Capitol Hill are moving along, but they haven't gotten to the point where we need them to result in widespread benefit. Let's take a look at what's happening in Colorado. Colorado started issuing $375 stimulus payments to residents who suffered financial hardship due to the COVID pandemic. All workers eligible for $25 to $500 a week in unemployment benefits between the 15th of March and the 24th of October will get this one-time boost. That's what Colorado is doing. This state has issued almost $77 million in payments since this Monday to more than 213,000 people. Approximately 435,000 people will be eligible according to the announcement. So more people are going to get money in the state of Colorado. In New Mexico, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, who's a Democrat, signed a $330 million relief package on the 25th of November. This law, which takes immediate effect, contains $100 million in grants for small businesses, $15 million in New Mexico in emergency housing assistance, $5 million for emergency food banking services, and $5 million for direct payments to low-income individuals who did not get a stimulus check. Now keep in mind the IRS has issued approximately 160 million stimulus checks totaling more than $270 billion and will continue providing aid to those who haven't got it yet. The maximum payout through the IRS was $1,200 for individuals. Now New Mexico will do something else. New Mexico will pay a one-time $1,200 New Mexico worker pandemic benefit in the coming weeks to individuals who are getting unemployment benefits in the state of New Mexico. More than 100,000 workers in the state of New Mexico were receiving unemployment benefits according to the U.S. Labor Department as of last month. Now in Alaska, Governor Mike Dunleavy, who is a Republican, expedited the release of $20 million in CARES Act funding to Anchorage this week to help struggling businesses. And there were lots of restrictions in Alaska, and Alaska has been badly impacted as a result of this pandemic. Last week, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan issued more than $19 million in grants to prevent evictions. The aid, which was sent to 17 local jurisdictions, will help more than 3,600 individuals in the state, according to Larry Hogan, who's a Republican. New York, by the way, which is the largest city in the United States, created a $35 million fund to create no-interest loans to small businesses in low to moderate income neighborhoods. So this was announced by Mayor Bill de Blasio, a Democrat, last week. These loans of up to $100,000 are available to storefront businesses that have been impacted by COVID with less than 9 employees. Now what's interesting is similarly, California created a $500 million fund to issue grants to underserved micro and small businesses and nonprofits, according to Governor Gavin Newsom. These grants, up to $25,000, would start to reach recipients next year. Now, Minnesota is also doing something. Some states are trying to actually push through relief legislation. The Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Republicans in the State House issued several proposals last week to provide relief to small businesses. Now, in addition to financial assistance for businesses, Walz also proposed a $500 one-time payment to families and a 13-week extension to unemployment benefits. He was hopeful that a bipartisan package would indeed pass. He's a Democrat. The governor also announced a $1 million in crisis grants for nonprofits in the tourism sector last week. This is a quote from Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. He said, "The current situation is simply untenable. We need Congress to act immediately to help keep our businesses afloat, our workers paid, and our families with food on the table. I think it's encouraging that different states are trying to do what they can, but you have to remember that states, their hands are tied because they don't have as much funding, they don't have the capability to essentially generate money, to essentially modify interest rates. They don't have the kind of abilities that the US Treasury or the Federal Reserve has. So they're doing what they can to help their residents at a time of desperate need. Now, speaking of games being played on both sides, okay, I want to be clear on both sides. You see this article on your screen from CNBC today, where House Speaker Pelosi sees, I quote, momentum towards a COVID stimulus deal as the job growth slows. Now, keep in mind the job growth numbers came out today, and to be honest, they were quite dire. In fact, President-elect Joe Biden commented on this. But what was interesting is the White House senior economic advisor Larry Kudlow had a completely different take on it. I'll give you that analysis in a separate video. It's almost like we're dealing with two realities here. It's when you get a coin, one side is heads and the other side is tails. So one individual will be like, yeah, look at heads, that's good news. But the other individual will be like, oh, look at tails, that's terrible. So it's almost like we're getting two different versions of reality that are coming out from the administration and from other elected officials. I'll let you be the judge. My job as a citizen reporter is to simply report the news and let you be the judge. Because for me, the Ignition Time channel is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about the money. For me, it's not about the red or the blue, it's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm American first, just like you are. So let's get back to our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. She said she sees momentum in COVID stimulus talks, and the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer again called for aid after November data showed reducing job growth. This is what House Speaker Pelosi said today. The tone of our conversations is one that is indicative of the decision to get the job done. All right. I would call that stimulus gamesmanship because, how long are we supposed to wait? How long are we supposed to wait? Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, there you are. Hello. How long are we supposed to wait? House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, hello. How long are we supposed to wait? In another article on your screen that you see that was published on Fox today, it says Pelosi says COVID relief could be attached to the government spending bill, and she talked about momentum in the stimulus talks. Here's a quote from Speaker Pelosi. There is momentum. We saw a framework. Now they have to get into text. We'll take the time we need, we'll get it done. Well, please don't take the time you need, please get it done. And she wrote, we must get it done before we leave. We cannot leave without it. That was a quote from Speaker Pelosi. In fact, why don't we take a look at what Speaker Pelosi said specifically. And she said, and I quote, we must get it done sooner the better, but not at the expense of the initiatives we need to address in the bill. Let's take a look at the comment from Speaker Pelosi in a press briefing that was done today. Let's roll the tape.
Now they have to turn it into text. And then, so we'll take the time we need, and we must get it done. And we must get it done by before we leave. We cannot leave without it.
Does that mean you have about a week?
It doesn't matter. We will take the time that we need. And the question is, when will the text be ready so that we can combine it into the... but the omnibus is not finished yet. We have a number of what we call ash and trash. It's a lot of other issues that need to be resolved. And they're in the course of doing that. And I don't want to in any way undermine the great bipartisan negotiations that are going on between the Democrats and Republicans. Senator Shelby as the chair of the Appropriations Committee in the Senate, Nita Lowey as the chair in the House, their staffs working together. So don't worry about a date. It will be in sufficient time for us to get it done. The sooner the better, but not at the expense of the initiatives that we need to address in the bills.
Thank you. So, just to be clear, you said no continuing resolution. Right, I understand that, but if you are on the precipice of getting a coronavirus deal, and you can't, if you are on the precipice... Okay, but what shifted, in your opinion, when the problem solvers focus on much larger bills, a bunch of bills, you did not like the piece of administration? What has shifted now when they're on board with this piece that's come out the side?
Perhaps you missed what I said earlier. Joe Biden committed to ending and crushing the virus and having a Build a Better America initiative, Build Back Better, a vaccine, answer to our prayers, an answer to our prayers of 95% effectiveness in terms of Pfizer and Moderna, and there may be others coming forward. That is a total game changer, a new president and a vaccine. So there's nothing to, these are different. What was then before was not more of this. This has simplicity. It's what we've had in our bills. It's for a shorter period of time, but that's okay now because we have a new president, a president who recognizes that we need to depend on science to stop the virus, a president who understands that America's working families need to have money in their pockets in a way that takes them into the future without any of the contraptions of any of the other bills that the administration was associating itself with before. We feel very excited about the prospect that there's a bipartisan bill, because I told members I'm not bringing any more bills that are not bipartisan. We wanted to show what needs to be done in the interest of negotiation. They're negotiating. It's a good product. It's not everything we want. Don't get me wrong. I don't want the Republicans to think that that this is a dream come true. It is not, but it is a path forward. Yeah.
Now, here's something else that's interesting. Speaker Pelosi was asked whether her past negotiations were a mistake. I have mentioned this before on my channel. Even if Speaker Pelosi had come to an agreement for $1.9 trillion with the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, we would never know if the Senate Republicans would have accepted that bill. We would never have known that. And my reporting suggests that that was not going to happen because Senate Republicans were just not in favor of a $1.9 trillion bill. They were never, ever in favor of that ever. In fact, you can see Senate Republicans now leave out stimulus checks at this stage of the game, even though the need is higher because we are getting through essentially a second wave, a third wave of the pandemic. Permanent unemployment is rising. They are leaving out second stimulus checks because they want to keep the cost of the bill under $1 trillion. So, House Speaker Pelosi said, the past was not a mistake, it was a decision. We are very proud of where we are. Let's roll the tape and listen to Speaker Pelosi.
Not to accept capital months ago. When you said, I'm not going to accept capital now.
Let me tell you something. Don't characterize what we did before as a mistake, as a preface to your question, if you want an answer. That was not a mistake. It was a decision, and it has taken us to a place where we can do the right thing without other, shall we say, considerations in the legislation that we don't want. Now, that is it. Now, the fact is, I'm very proud of where we are. My chairs have worked very hard on all of this. They were not even happy with a proposal that we made the other day before we saw this proposal. They thought we had come back too small. So it's not about an individual, it's about how we address the needs of the American people. And we have to do it in a scientific way, and we have to do it in a way that recognizes people need food on the table. They need to get their rent paid. They need money in their pockets. They need their unemployment insurance to be there. They do not need a whole cacophony of other things that are on the agenda that have nothing to do with meeting their needs. So we're very pleased at where it is. And as I said, with a Democratic president committed to a scientific solution for this, with the idea that we will have a vaccine, it's a complete game changer from them.
And in the final segment, Speaker Pelosi said that the government funding bill is the vehicle for more stimulus. So we are likely to see some sort of stimulus as part of the government funding package. And if you saw my earlier video talking about the Pelosi calculus, you'll realize that House Speaker Pelosi probably is trying to use this as a short-term funding option, as a short-term stimulus option, and then pass bigger stimulus next year. Let's roll the tape and see what she said.
So is this now a situation where we're expecting an omnibus and any sort of coronavirus relief to be meshed into one piece of legislation?
That would be our hope. That would be our hope, because that is the vehicle leaving the station. And that's probably, I was pleased that he wanted to do it that way, because that's how we have, that's what we thought would be the best way to do. The vehicle's leaving the station. In other words, you see a bill come to the floor, you don't see the whole underpinnings and the orchestration of what it takes to get to a place. So if there's a vehicle and we can add this language once we see the text, that is what we would be doing.
Would you need an agreement on both components to bring something to the floor?
Oh yeah. And that's what we're working on. Yes, and because we would want a big, strong vote.
Oftentimes, it's important for us to understand it's not just important what these elected officials say, it's also important what they don't say. Notice how she says that, hey, let's just use it as a vehicle to get something done, which means that she ultimately wants to come back and do more. And I did report that in the previous video on the Pelosi calculus, so definitely check out that video as well. That's it, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of states stepping in while the stimulus gamesmanship continues. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for giving me a couple of minutes from your day. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. We work very hard on this channel to try and present you with the news. So all I ask is you please click like, please ignite that subscribe button. Please ignite that notification button. That would mean a lot to me. That would be your vote of support in us. And that really, really helps out the YouTube algorithm. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. Get your cell phone out. Do something fun. Send us a text message with the word ignition or with the word time. Get your cell phone out. You can do it right now. See, it'll only take a second. Get your cell phone out. Type out the text message ignition or time and send it to 70,000. That's 70000. And you'll get added to SMS alerts list. You'll get breaking news and alerts. And if I ever release a program, you'll be the first to know, because it's only a small community that's going to get the opportunity to further work with us. And you have the option to opt out of the SMSs at any point in time that you want. You can also, if you want, get on our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you can get added to our email list. Now you can opt out of the emails at any point in time that you want. There's absolutely no worries about that. Keep in mind, you can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. Be one of the cool cats following us on Instagram. So we release a lot of fun content specifically for our Instagram followers. Speaking of cool cats, breaking news is something you can get from us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter to get exclusive breaking news alerts from us right on Twitter, and then you'll be able to engage with us on Twitter as well. Now, speaking of engagement, sometimes, because YouTube is not perfect, well, what's perfect? Nothing is. Sometimes because YouTube is not perfect, they don't release notifications as soon as we release the videos. So there's a simple solution. You want to know what it is? It's super simple. Just bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. Yep. Just bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll be able to visit the homepage of our channel anytime you want. You can visit it every moment of the day. You can visit it, in the morning while you're having a cup of coffee, while you're eating lunch, while you're having dinner. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you can check out the channel. So you can check out our channel at any point in time that you want, and then you won't miss a single video. As always, if you learned something new from this video, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications, please share the video with friends and family. This way we can grow our community, and that does tell the YouTube algorithm that you found the content valuable. Also, comment below. Our community is intelligent, it's engaging, it's growing, it's hyperactive, it's bipartisan, it's respectful. So participate with us in our community. And on a final note, you'll always find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. This way you can dig deeper into the content at any point in time that you want. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.